beautiful, but I don't know anything about her. So it's hard to develop some sort of admiration or connection with women when they're written very two-dimensional. And
Drama pieces going on between Jenna Ortega and the Walt Disney Company. Disney's been trying to desperately get her on board.
Jenna Ortega, one of Hollywood's fastest rising stars, is now at the heart of fresh rumors tied to Disney's live-action lineup. Known for her breakout roles across film and TV, she's become a fan favorite. And now, buzz is spreading across social media and entertainment circles that she might just be the new face of a reimagined Snow White remake.
when I did television shows when I was younger, they would take us to media training, or they would call it, Disney 101 or something like that, where you would go and they would give you a notebook and pens and pencils and paper, and they would say, okay, you're gonna post 3 times a day.
Following the widely publicized Snow White disaster, rumors have started swirling about a new project that may have been quietly greenlit in its aftermath. But how did all this talk even begin? Jenna Ortega's fans are digging into every clue, while industry insiders are now questioning if this daring move could finally breathe new life into Disney's troubled fairy tale strategy.
This was Jenna's main reasoning of deciding to back out of the project, and created serious creative differences between herself.
It wasn't too long ago that the live-action Snow White remake was the talk of the town, with critics, fans, and even cast members openly sharing their thoughts on what went wrong. Now, a fresh face is rumored to take on the iconic role. And it's someone who's already proven she's more than capable of handling complex characters and high-stakes roles.
Yeah, we had more dwarfs than we did viewers in most of these theaters. And as you know, there were no dwarfs other than some CGI weird generated version of them. It's the old, it truly is go woke, go broke.
So how does Jenna Ortega feel about all the chatter? And can this new attempt at a modern Snow White actually fix the mistakes of the last one? The so-called Snow White disaster has been making waves, with the term stemming from a flood of disappointment. From fans let down by the film to industry insiders pointing out major issues with pacing and storyline.
Don't alienate half of the country when you're putting out a product meant to appeal to all. It's the Michael Jordan Republicans buy sneakers too.
Critics also slammed the film for what they saw as an over-the-top attempt at modernization. Early screenings didn't fare much better, with reactions pointing to jarring tone shifts, structural issues, and a general feeling that the film had lost the original story's charm. Despite all this, the film was still pushed for release, which only intensified the negative buzz surrounding it.
Every one of the 18 hours I am in the Snow White dress, I expect to get paid. If it's 18 hours, I want 18 hours of pay. I'm sure she got underpaid as a Disney lead actress.
Even those who had once been staunch defenders of Disney's live-action strategy began to rethink their support, feeling that this adaptation might have crossed a line in tampering with a beloved classic. As more details surfaced, social media exploded with opinions. Some thoughtful, others brutal. Rumors of on-set tensions and creative clashes only added fuel to the fire, leading many to dub the whole project a disaster that overshadowed everything.
People have real problems and no one gives a shit if she got paid for 17 instead of 18 on her multi-million-dollar salary, which is not calculated by the hour.
Amid all the chaos, Rachel Zegler became the center of the storm. As the star of the film, she took the brunt of the backlash. Whether it was fair or not, the public often directs their frustration at the most visible face of a project. Rumors spread that she was either upset with the film's reception or fiercely defending it against critics. Some claimed there was an outburst, while others suggested she was just trying to salvage the film's image. Social media was flooded with conflicting stories.
So she just encapsulates everything that most of us cannot stand about modern-day feminism and the left in general.
There was even a strange rumor about potential legal trouble after Rachel Zegler's frustrations supposedly boiled over, though nothing ever confirmed those whispers. Still, the constant speculation added to the sense that the production was falling apart. Soon, talks about reshoots and rushed editing surfaced, making people wonder if Disney was trying to fix the issues, but only making the pacing problems worse. Then came the test screenings, each one seemingly more negative than the last.
This weird feminist thing where her heroine cannot be in love or be saved by a man, the prince. that she's more focused on becoming the leader she was meant to be, as if women in modern day America must make that choice.
This only reinforced the feeling that the film was completely out of sync with its own creative vision. Against this chaotic backdrop, rumors of an entirely new Snow White remake began to surface. At first, many fans dismissed the idea, convinced that Disney wouldn't try something so soon after the ongoing fiasco. But major studios often have different priorities and timelines behind the scenes, where bigger creative strategies can unfold alongside each other.
You cannot both be a leader as a female and fall in love and be rescued by a prince. Like, that's incongruous.
If Disney felt the brand's reputation was on the line, a bold recalibration might have seemed necessary. Or maybe the studio just didn't want to let the iconic Snow White property sit in limbo, especially considering the immense value tied to the original 1937 classic. Whether it was about saving face or finding a better angle for modernization, the move made sense from a business perspective.
That's only the left's version of what it means to be a strong woman or female empowerment.
The rumor was that Disney had begun developing an entirely new project, separate from the earlier one. Different writers, a new director, and a fresh star. It would be a clean break from the negativity surrounding the previous attempt. Enter Jenna Ortega, whose rapid rise in Hollywood, thanks to her standout performances across film and TV, has now placed her at the center of fresh rumors about Disney's live-action adaptations.
So, I mean, this woman has clicked every box. And just for cherry on top at the end, she gave an interview last week talking about how they were basically a bunch of white supremacists on the set of West Side Story.
Recently, chatter has exploded across social media and entertainment forums, with rumors swirling that Jenna Ortega could be the face of a new Snow White remake. This project is said to have been greenlit in the wake of the highly publicized Snow White disaster, which left the previous adaptation mired in controversy. But where did this rumor even start? And why are Jenna Ortega's fans exploring all the possibilities, while industry insiders wonder if this bold move could breathe new life into Disney's approach to classic fairy tales?
Where Steven Spielberg and co. were demanding that she prove how Latina she really is, since her name doesn't sound Latina, and she was angrily saying, did I have to bring in my little abuelita for you to believe that I was Latina?
It wasn't long ago that headlines were consumed by endless debates over the original live-action Snow White production, with critics, fans, and even cast members openly sharing their thoughts on what went wrong. Now, a fresh face is rumored to step into the iconic role, and that face belongs to an actress who's already proven she's not afraid of complex characters or high-stakes roles. So, how does Jenna Ortega feel about all the buzz?
That's her thanks to Steven Spielberg, who discovered her and made her. So she's an ingrate, she's annoying, and I think she's probably two and done.
Can a second attempt at a modernized Snow White succeed where the first one stumbled so badly? The so-called Snow White disaster has been widely discussed, with the term stemming from a chorus of disappointment. Fans were let down, industry insiders pointed out major flaws in pacing and narrative, and critics slammed what they saw as an overly heavy-handed approach to modernization.
And if she hadn't have opened her mouth, I think that this movie might have done well. They might have just been able to ride on the hopium of the movie and some well-cut trailers, and people would have paid to go see it, and then it would have fallen off when people knew it was garbage.
Early screenings delivered disappointing reactions, with critics highlighting abrupt tonal shifts, structural inconsistencies, and a general feeling that the production had lost the original story's timeless charm. Strangely, the film was still set for release, which only amplified the negative buzz. Even those who had once supported Disney's live-action strategy began to feel that this adaptation may have pushed the boundaries too far in reimagining a beloved classic.
Rachel Ziegler made it so hateable that you really sabotaged and took hundreds of millions of dollars from the studio. I don't know how anyone would ever want to go into business with her.
As more details surfaced, social media erupted with a range of opinions, some thoughtful, others harsh. Rumors began to circulate about on-set tensions and creative disagreements, eventually leading many to label the entire project a disaster. Amidst all this, Rachel Ziegler became a lightning rod for controversy as the film's lead, taking the brunt of the backlash.
Do you know, how hard it is to find an attractive young woman in Hollywood who can act in sin? It's not hard. Who just isn't going to offend half the country?
She became the focal point of the backlash, whether it was deserved or not. the public often directs its frustration at the most visible figure in a project. Rumors spread that she was either dissatisfied with the film's reception or fiercely defending it against critics. Some claimed she had an outburst, while others suggested she was merely trying to salvage the film's reputation. Conflicting stories flooded social media.
Every single white male is a piece of shit, and the woman is the hero, and all authority is bad, and all business is bad, but government is good as social. And most people don't know what they're watching. She, unfortunately, sort of pulled the curtain back, and people knew exactly what was going on.
A strange rumor even surfaced about potential legal trouble after her frustration supposedly boiled over, though nothing ever confirmed those whispers. Regardless, the growing speculation only added to the sense that the production was spiraling. Soon, talk of reshoots and rushed editing emerged, leading many to wonder if Disney was trying to fix the issues, but possibly making the pacing problems even worse.
Yes, Toolman.
Yeah, I have a clip of it.
Oh, okay, great.
Her being a retard.
Okay.
It's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White.
That laugh.
That is
Not going to be saved by
You
the
wrote
prince.
it?
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
Then came the test screenings, each one seemingly more negative than the last, reinforcing the idea that the film was out of sync with its own creative vision. Against this chaotic backdrop, rumors of an entirely new Snow White remake began to surface. At first, many fans dismissed the idea, convinced Disney wouldn't attempt such a move so soon after the ongoing fiasco. But major studios often have different priorities and timelines unfolding behind the scenes.
Our rights are on the line, folks.
The
Our
rights by
reproductive
Cosby
rights.
sweaters?
Come on.
That's the face
Go
of a
vote blue.
serial killer.
And if you disagree with this sentiment, just hit the unfollow button.
Behind the scenes, larger creative strategies often unfold in parallel. If Disney felt that its brand reputation was at risk, a bold recalibration might have seemed necessary. Or perhaps the studio simply didn't want to let the iconic Snow White property languish, especially given the immense brand value tied to the original 1937 masterpiece. Whether the motivation was to salvage its image or to capitalize on a better angle for modernization, the stakes were high.
The original cartoon came out in 1937, and very evidently so. There's a big focus on her love story with a guy who literally stalks her.
Say it louder so your other eye can hear you.
So we didn't do that this time.
The rumor began circulating that a completely new Snow White project, separate from the previous one, was in development. This version would feature different writers, directors, and a new star, offering a clean break from the negativity surrounding the earlier attempt. That's when Jenna Ortega's name started trending almost overnight. Fans quickly began speculating that she could portray this new take on the iconic character. Not a direct copy of the original Snow White, but a fresh reimagining that could resonate more with modern audiences while still maintaining the essence of the fairy tale. Ortega, known for her standout performances in critically acclaimed films and TV shows, has shown time and again that she's willing to take on complex roles. Her emotional depth, comedic timing, and authenticity have earned her a devoted following. Most notably, Ortega has built a strong connection with younger audiences who find her both relatable and undeniably talented. These qualities could make her the perfect fit for Disney's attempt to breathe new life into a story some believe has become stale or was mishandled in its previous iteration. But what does Jenna Ortega think about playing such an iconic role? In interviews and social media posts, she's been coy but clearly enthusiastic whenever fairy tale roles come up.
You don't particularly see people who, look like me or are me playing roles like that. So it was definitely when it got announced.
White!
He wasn't a stalker, by the way.
Thing that was like trending on Twitter for days because all of the people were angry.
Jenna Ortega has made it clear that she's open to big franchise opportunities, as long as the storytelling aligns with her values. Fans have latched onto these comments, interpreting them as a sign that Ortega might be willing to take on a leading role in a major Disney project, provided the script resonates with her creative sensibilities. While neither Ortega nor Disney has officially confirmed the rumor, the speculation continues to swirl. Fans can't help but imagine what Ortega's take on Snow White might look like, especially when compared to the troubled production that came before. Some artists have even created fan art showcasing her in a modernized costume, while others debate whether she would sing her own musical numbers or bring a more grounded, dramatic approach to the character. At the same time, there's a growing conversation about whether audiences even want another live-action Snow White after the previous fiasco. People are expressing fatigue with the constant wave of remakes, whether it's The Lion King, Aladdin, Mulan, or Pinocchio. These reimaginings often feel like they're being rolled out too quickly, raising concerns about creative burnout. There's a valid argument that Disney risks alienating its fan base if it pushes too far. Could the new Snow White be different? Possibly, especially if Disney is fully committed to reevaluating what went wrong last time.
And so it was like
Those people.
very much this, yes. It was this
the people that we
awakening
need
of-
to educate, the people that we need to love into awareness.
love them in the right direction.
Some skeptics still aren't convinced, pointing out that box office numbers don't always match what critics are saying. But if the last adaptation let down even die-hard Disney fans, it could point to bigger creative issues that won't be easy or quick to fix. As for Ortega, she'd be stepping into a role already shadowed by the previous film's mixed reception. Every interview could bring up comparisons to Rachel Zegler's version, and she may have to respond to backlash tied to a project she wasn't even part of. Still, those in the industry say Ortega might just be the right person to handle that pressure. She's already shown she can speak thoughtfully on tough subjects and knows how to balance artistic choices with what the audience wants. If she ends up taking the role, many expect her to offer honest, clear insights on how to respect the original while still making it feel modern. Interestingly, the controversy from the last Snow White film has reopened old debates about how to update these classics. Some say that version pushed too many messages that didn't fit the fairy tale vibe, while others feel it was a bold attempt to refresh outdated parts of the 1937 original.
She's now bragging about the success of Snow White, which is a movie that's going to lose hundreds of millions of dollars, and mainly because of her, and because nobody wanted to support her.
It's no surprise that modern storytellers try to bring in values that feel relevant today. Jenna Ortega, known for speaking up about social issues, could support a version of Snow White that adds a fresh take, without losing the fairy tale charm that's made it timeless. The real challenge is doing it with subtlety and care. If the rumored creative team finds the right mix, it could be a turning point in how Disney reimagines its classics. But if they lean too hard in either direction, sticking too closely to tradition or going all in on modern themes, they could end up turning off a lot of fans. In Hollywood, where whispers move faster than official announcements, there's already talk that Disney is seriously considering Ortega for the role. Rumor has it that scripts are being adjusted to better match a direction she'd be proud to lead. Some insiders believe that if she joins the project, she'll have real input on how the character evolves, something many fans actually hope for, considering her talent for playing complex roles. Of course, nothing is confirmed yet, and it's all speculation for now, but that hasn't slowed down the excitement. On social media, hashtags like Jenna Snow White are already trending, and fan-made edits show her in the iconic dress, with a modern edge. The speed at which the internet turns rumors into full-blown hype is wild, but it also shows just how powerful the idea really is. The Snow White name still holds weight. Just the mention of a talented actress possibly taking on the role has shifted the conversation from frustration over the last disaster to renewed hope for a better version. But if Disney decides to scrap the new project altogether, or if Ortega picks something else instead, the letdown could hit hard. Fans already picturing her in the iconic role might feel deeply disappointed. Still, even that outcome has opened up real conversations about Disney's direction with live-action remakes. Are these reboots still worth the cost and creative effort? Is the audience tired of changes that drift too far from the classics? Or are they frustrated that the changes don't go far enough to feel fresh and original? The last misstep showed that fans want more than just brand nostalgia or surface-level updates. They're asking for stories that truly earn their changes while still holding on to the heart of the fairy tale. Whatever direction Snow White takes, whether Jenna Ortega is involved or not, it will now be held to a higher standard. If she does officially sign on, the media storm will be huge. Reporters will flood her with questions about how her version stands apart from both the 1937 film and the recent misfire. She may highlight her personal approach, focusing on emotional depth and the character's growth. She might also support subtle updates to the world around Snow White, modern elements that feel inclusive but don't overpower the fairy tale magic. And fans? They'll be listening closely, hoping Ortega and the new creative team can finally bring back the magic of a story that's touched generations. But to win them over, the filmmakers must come together with a clear vision. No more sloppy edits or forced messages that distract from the heart of the tale. There's another side to this conversation, one that dives into the larger cultural shift we're in. Snow White isn't just any Disney princess. She's the first, the original icon who launched it all. For years, she symbolized innocence and purity, qualities that can feel outdated if not handled carefully today. Modern viewers want female leads with strength, agency, and complexity. So, how do you update a story that has long celebrated the heroine's gentle heart and vulnerability without losing what made it meaningful? Critics of the last remake say it missed that balance. The changes felt forced and disconnected, like the story was trying too hard to be modern instead of letting it happen naturally. But Jenna Ortega, who's known for playing strong, thoughtful characters who stick to their values, could shift things in the right direction. She might help shape a version that stays true to the original magic, while also speaking clearly to today's world. Fans believe that kind of portrayal doesn't have to conflict with the classic. It's not about replacing the old Snow White, it's about evolving her. Letting her kindness, courage, and empathy grow into something deeper and more textured, something that still captures hearts in this generation. That said, there's always a gap between what fans hope for and what actually hits the screen. Some corners of the fan base remain skeptical. They've seen how excitement often turns to letdown, and they worry. Even a talented actress like Ortega might not be able to save a film bogged down by the same studio interference that hurt the last one. Big studios tend to lean heavily on committees, test audiences, and marketing data, all of which can pull a movie in too many directions. And when that happens, the end result often satisfies no one. If Disney's been paying attention, they'll know they can't afford to let that happen again. When studios make changes that feel forced or rushed, fans tend to pull back. Maybe next time they'll aim for a more balanced approach, or maybe the temptation to be bold and different will lead them to push too far again. Only the final product, if it ever sees the light of day, will show whether they've learned from past mistakes. For Jenna Ortega, stepping into the role of Snow White could be a major career milestone. She's already shown impressive range, from emotional dramas to sharp comedies to darker roles with edge. Taking on a Disney fairy tale, especially one surrounded by this level of attention, could launch her even deeper into the spotlight. But it would also test how well she can meet the enormous expectations that come with such an iconic role. Fans are hoping for an actress who can carry the emotional heart of a story that's been loved since 1937, while also bringing something new to the table. That might mean tweaking certain plot points, adding depth, or building in modern elements more thoughtfully. The last attempt struggled with exactly that, but if Ortega can help shape a version that honors the original magic and still feels relevant today, she might lead Disney into one of its greatest comeback stories. On the other hand, if the project falls into the same traps, over-editing, confused messaging, she could be tied to another major letdown. As rumors continue to swirl, entertainment reporters have tried to get statements from Ortega's team or Disney insiders. So far, responses have been vague or non-existent, and that silence, it only fuels more speculation. Now, fans are analyzing every little thing Ortega says, whether she's mentioning a childhood favorite or hinting at something exciting in the works. It all sparks fresh theories. The ongoing buzz shows just how much fairy tales, and the Disney name, still matter to people, even after recent disappointments have shaken faith in constant remakes. That deep pull of nostalgia still holds power. If used wisely, it can rally fans behind a new version. If mishandled, though, it can spark a backlash so intense, no marketing campaign can fix it. The previous Snow White misfire serves as a warning. Announcing a classic title with a popular star isn't enough. The final film has to deliver. Today's viewers are sharp and quick to spot weak spots, and social media makes those criticisms go viral fast. That's exactly how the earlier Snow White lost momentum. Negative test screening leaks, re-edit rumors, and a defensive attitude toward early critics turned excitement into dread. If Jenna Ortega truly signs on, fans are hoping Disney takes its time to get everything right this time, crafting a story that feels sincere and emotionally grounded. Otherwise, they risk digging the hole deeper. And realistically, If this project does move forward, it'll take years to reach theaters. From casting to filming, post-production to promotion, it's a long road. By then, the original flop might fade from memory, or it could still hang over the new film like a dark cloud. Either way, how Jenna Ortega responds to this rumored casting will matter. Her reaction could set the tone, whether she works to distance herself from past failures or leans into the challenge of reimagining a damaged fairy tale with care. For now, all fans can do is guess. They study her interviews, analyze Disney's recent moves, and dream up what a better Snow White might look like. Online, some fans are thrilled at the thought of Jenna as the iconic princess. Others remain skeptical, still burned by what came before. But most agree, if Disney takes on this new version, it needs to do so with genuine care. The last film showed that even huge productions can fail if they forget the core story. Maybe that's the one good thing the fiasco accomplished. It reminded everyone that successful remakes aren't built on name recognition alone. They're about storytelling that connects on a real level. If Ortega does accept the role, it'll likely be because she believes in the new direction, in a version of Snow White that resonates for modern audiences without losing its heart. She's always been selective, choosing roles that prioritize depth and strong character arcs. There's no reason she'd jump into a controversial project unless she believed it could work. And if Disney really is talking with her, both sides probably see the same opportunity, a chance to redeem the brand. That alone has sparked new hope. Despite all the chaos, there's still wonder in the idea of these stories coming to life again. What's next will only be clear once official announcements arrive, or Jenna confirms things herself. Until then, fans are left in a space between hope and hesitation. Yet through all the noise, one truth shines. These stories can still work, still matter, if they're handled right. Whether Ortega ends up as the new Snow White or not, one thing's clear: thoughtful evolution and classic charm can exist together. And maybe, just maybe, Jenna Ortega is exactly the person to help strike that balance. If she does, it could mark a powerful comeback for the character that started it all. And maybe that's exactly what Disney needs, to remind the world of the heart that made these tales timeless in the first place.